provide you with the lowest per GB rates, night or day. SLT 4G, driving you ever forward.
Making headlines on First at 9. Defining the future. President Maithripala Sirisena says that all investments should be geared towards ensuring rights and privileges of children. Cause for uncertainty. As 6 provincial councils near dissolution, what measures are to be taken to hold the much-delayed provincial council polls? Need of the hour. Sri Lanka Podujana Perumuna stresses that a lack of leadership has failed Sri Lanka police in fulfilling duties.
Why is the police failing so miserably to fulfill these responsibilities? Because it has no leadership.
Allocation to suit requirement. State Minister Harsha De Silva hints priorities through 2019 budget.
Our budgets are not that big, but we are spending over $1 billion.
Finally home. Former Maldivian President Maumoon Abdul Gayoom released on bail, a week after his estranged half-brother was defeated in presidential poll.
As a Maldivian citizen, I just wanted to comment to say how relieved I am that a peaceful and free and fair election was conducted in the country.
Let's nurture fresh colors seen by little eyes, guided by the light of our love. This space is for your little one. Adding flavor to World Children's Day. Tiara.
A very good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Derana 24/7, Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang. Now on to your top story tonight. In line with the world's Children's Day today, President Maithripala Sirisena emphasizes all relevant parties to be vigilant on societal challenges faced by children just as much as their rights and privileges. The President was speaking at an event held in Balapite in Galle today.
The newly constructed technical laboratory of the Revatha College in Balapitiya was vested with the students today under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena. The technical laboratory was constructed under the national program of Nearest School is the Best School. A secondary junior laboratory was also declared open by the President.
මම ජනාධිපති ලේකම් කාර්යාලයේ විශේෂ ව්‍යාපෘතියක් හැදුවා දරුවන් රකිමු කියන විශේෂ ව්‍යාපෘතිය. අපි කරන සියලු කටයුතු වල යහපත් දෙහිදී ඒ සැබෑ ලෙස අවසාන ඒ කරන සියලු ආයෝජන තුල ප්‍රතිඵලය ලැබිය යුත්තේ දරුවන්ටයි. පහුගිය සතියේ රැස් වූ එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ සංවිධානයේ විශේෂ රැස්වීමක් තිබුණා. රාජ්‍ය නායකයින් සියලු දෙනාම සහභාගී වෙච්ච මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය මර්ධනය පිළිබඳව විශේෂ අවස්ථාවක්. එහිදී ජාත්‍යන්තර වශයෙන් සම්මත කළ අලුත් යෝජනා රාශියක් නීති විරෝධී මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය විෂ මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය පිළිබඳව. දරුවනේ අපි දූපත් රාජ්‍යයක් විදිහට අපේ රටට ඇතුල් වෙන්න බොහෝ ඉඩකඩ පහසුකම් තිබෙනවා. යන්න එන්න අපි ඒවා වළක්වන්න ත්‍රිවිධ හමුදා යොදලා තියෙනවා, පොලිසිය යොදලා තිබෙනවා, රේගුව යොදලා තිබෙනවා, වෙනත් මොහුදු ආරක්ෂණ වලලු රාශියක් තිබෙනවා. නමුත් විෂ මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය ජාවාරම්කරුවන් ඒ සියල්ලෙන්ගම රිංගලාද දරුවන් පිළිගන්න පටන් අරගෙන තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා පාසල් දරුවාගේ ඉඳලා විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ශිෂ්‍යයාද මේ නව පරපුර මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය වලින් බේර ගන්න මීට වඩා වැඩි අවධානයක් යොමු කරන්න ඕනේ.
Minister of Women's and Child Affairs Chandrani Bandara says that the government is planning to introduce necessary framework by next year to protect children from internet addiction and cyberbullying as a result of social media platforms. This was revealed at an event held in view of World Children's Day. Today, Sri Lanka celebrated World Children's Day under the theme March with Courage, Provide Strength to Children. A special ceremony was organised at Temple Trees this morning under the auspices of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Minister of Women and Child Affairs Chandrani Bandara.
The internet has become a necessity in this day and age. Therefore, we have to create necessary framework to ensure that the internet is used for the purpose of gaining knowledge. Certain countries have banned social media platforms such as Facebook. I believe the time has come to take such measures to protect our children from the harm that could take place because of the internet. We hope by next year we will be able to finalize this framework. In Sri Lanka, children between the age of 0 to 15 form a little over 24% of our population. Therefore, what is the current position of our children when it comes to their security and well-being?
According to the 2017 UNICEF annual report, in child protection, strengthening the enabling environment to protect children from violence, abuse and exploitation remain the priority. Reports of the Ministry of Women and Child Affairs also show 14.4% of late adolescent girls and 13.8% late adolescent boys reported having been subjected to some form of sexual abuse. Last year alone, the National Child Protection Authority received 501 complaints of sexual harassment and a staggering 340 cases of rape. It is also noteworthy to highlight that 2,144 cases were related to cruelty to children. However, these are but a few cases. Poverty, child labour and domestic violence still remain an issue in the country. It is evident that despite having signed up to the UN Convention on the Rights of Child in 1989, children around the world have yet to be given the necessary protection and support required to become responsible citizens in the future. As former President of South Africa Nelson Mandela says, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Professor G.L. Peiris today moved to comment on the behaviour of the Inspector General of Police, Puji Jayasundara, who was under much criticism due to several events that unfolded recently. Insisting that he is unfit for the position, Professor Peiris went on to say that the lack of leadership has failed Sri Lanka Police in fulfilling its responsibilities.
Just a couple of days ago, the Army Commander, Mr. Mahesh Senanayake, said that if the Army is given a part of the police powers for a temporary period, they would be able to crush the AWA organization in a matter of days. As a matter of policy, we are opposed to police powers being handed over to the army. That is not desirable. This is essentially a function of the police. And the STF, the Special Task Force, was formed specifically with this objective in view. And the STF is part of the police, not of the army. Now, why is the police failing so miserably to fulfill these responsibilities? Because it has no leadership. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Puji Jayasundara, is obviously unsuited to hold that position. And that is evident from everything that he is doing. His whole demeanor, how he reacts to situations, it is very clear that he is not an appropriate choice to be the Inspector General of Police. We are today in a situation where the National Police Commission is saying that the Inspector General of Police is not carrying out its orders. The IGP has become a law unto himself, and the National Police Commission is saying that they have lost control.
Meanwhile, Professor G.L. Peiris also made note of the preparations for the party's national convention.
We are preparing for the national convention of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. At that convention, we would urge former President Mahinda Rajapaksa to take over the leadership of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. It is the expectation of all our party members, indeed of the whole country, that Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa will take over this leadership at a time that is critical for our country in order to face the many challenges that we confront at this time.
Police spokesperson SP Ruangurasekara today revealed that office of DIG Nalaka De Silva has been sealed and the Criminal Investigation Department has taken necessary documents into its custody. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of State Enterprises H.M. Harris filed a complaint with the CID today requesting for a comprehensive investigation into the claims by Director of Operations of the Anti-Corruption Force Namal Kumara.
Director of Operations of the Anti-Corruption Force Namal Kumara, who revealed about a plot to assassinate President Maithripala Sirisena and former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, held a media briefing recently. There he claimed that he received money from a resident in France to create conflicts between Muslim and Tamil communities in the country.
මම ඒ මුදල් අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ නාලක සිල්වා මහත්තයාගේ උපදෙස් මත ඒවල තියෙන්නේ ත්‍රස්තවාදී කටයුතු සංවිධානය කරන්න තමයි තුෂාර පීරිස් එව්වේ විශේෂයෙන්ම මුස්ලිම් අමාත්‍යවරු ඝාතනය කිරීම මුස්ලිම් පල්ලිවලට ප්‍රහාර දියත් කිරීම මේ වගේ දේවල් තමයි කරන්න ගියේ.
However, Deputy Minister of State Enterprises H.M. Harris filed a complaint with the CID today requesting for a comprehensive investigation into the claims by the Director of Operations of the Anti-Corruption Force.
මේ පිළිබඳව මම අද CAD අධ්‍යක්ෂ අම්බේවල නාමල් කුමාර හරස් කරලා හරි පරීක්ෂණය කරලා මේ පිළිබඳව මේ රටේ ඉන්න ජනතාවට විශේෂම තමල මුස්ලිම් සිංහල ජනතාවට මේ පිටිපස්සේ තියෙන කුමාන්දරයේ හේවිලි කරන්න ඕන කියලා මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරලා තිනවා.
මේ හඬපටවලදී නම් කියවෙනවා පොලිස් නිලධාරීන් කීප දෙනෙකුගේ. ඒ පොලිස් නිලධාරීන්ගේ ප්‍රකාශ සටහන් කරලා තියෙනවා. අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව ත්‍රස්තවාදී විමර්ශන දිසාවේ හිටපු නියෝජ්‍ය පොලිස්පතිගේ ඒ නිල කාර්යාලය මුද්‍රා තබලා අවශ්‍ය කරන ලිපි ලේඛන කිහිපයකුත් අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව බාරයට අරගෙන තියෙනවා. මේ විමර්ශනය ඉතා විධිමත්ව සිදුවේ.
ඊළඟට ඩීජී නාලක සිල්වා මහතාගෙන් ප්‍රකාශ සටහන් කරගත්තේ නැහැ කියලා CID ට චෝදනා එල්ලනවා.
ඔවුන් විමර්ශන නිසි වේලාවට නිසි කලට අවශ්‍ය විමර්ශනය සිදු කරනවා.
Leader of the Pivituru Helaurumeya Parliamentarian Udaya Gamampila suspects that not apprehending Deputy Inspector General of Police Nalaka De Silva is to facilitate some individuals trying to assassinate him, given the fact that many will be in trouble if he reveals about the plot to assassinate President Maithripala Sirisena. He made this statement at a media briefing held in Colombo today.
An attempt to assassinate the president is not a mere homicide attempt. It's a coup attempt against the state. Soon after hearing the attempted coup in 1962, the government arrested every suspect irrespective of their officers' held and social standings. Venerable Henapitagedara Jnanasiya Nayaka Thero was one of the leading Buddhist monks in the country with a scholarly background. He was the head of the judiciary of Ramanya Mahanikaya. When he was made a coup suspect based on false information, government did not hesitate to arrest him irrespective of his social standings. When the government received a false information that Vasudeva Nanayakkar was involved in 1971 insurrection, government never considered his status as a bar to arrest and remand him. Nobody is ready to take risk with any coup attempt. Why does the government behave in so strange manner in respect of DIG Nalaka De Silva? If DIG De Silva opens his mouth, there will be a lot of people in trouble. If this allegation is true, the best option available for the conspirators behind Nalaka De Silva is to assassinate him. He will then be silent forever with the secrets possessed by him in respect of this assassination attempt. In this backdrop, we strongly suspect DIG Nalaka De Silva has not been arrested so far in order to facilitate his assassination.
Official terms of the three provincial councils, Central, North and Northwestern, are due to end by the end of this month. Accordingly, 6 provincial councils have completed their terms and will be expecting fresh elections.
Provincial councils of the North Central, Eastern and Sabaragamu provinces expired a year ago, with all 3 put under the administration of the governors of relevant provinces. However, 3 more provincial councils are due to expire their official terms this month. Accordingly, the Northwestern province will end its term on the 8th of October, while the Central province ends its term on the 10th of this month. Furthermore, the Northern province is due to end its term on the 25th of this month. However, holding the provincial council election has been delayed due to the defeat of the committee report pertaining to the delimitation of electorates in provincial councils in the parliament recently. Accordingly, a 5-member committee headed by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was appointed to review and put forth recommendations to hold provincial council elections. After its second gathering last month, the committee had informed the Speaker that submitting the report would be delayed by a further 2 months, as they require to broadly consider facts pertaining to the delimitation of electorates for the provincial council elections. In the meantime, several parties commented over the delay of holding provincial council elections.
මැතිවන ක්‍රමය වෙනස් කිරීම ගැන තමයි අපි ජයග්‍රහණය කරනකොට 2015 ජනවාරි 8 ඉඳලම අපි ප්‍රකාශ කරේ වේදිකාවල ජනතාවට පොරොන්දු වුණේ. ඉතින් ඒකේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් නිසා සාකච්ඡා තිබුණා, කෙටුම්පත් තිබුණා. ඒවා නිසා මේක හුඟක් පරක්කු වුණා. මම හිතන්නේ රජය මේ ගැන අමතක කළා නැහැ.
Provincial councils are breaking down. By the end of October, 6 out of the 9 provincial councils are defunct. no members, no chief ministers. Then by April next year, 2 others become defunct. So 8 out of 9 are not functioning. Members of the Elections Commission are travelling to the Maldives to monitor Maldivian elections while not doing a thing about holding elections in this country. Those elections are long overdue.
මැතිවරණයක් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම තියෙනවා. පළාත් සභා විසිරුවා ආරම්භ මැතිවරණය අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ලබන අවුරුද්දේ මුල් කාලය තුල පවත්වන්න. නෑ නෑ ඒක අදාළ වෙන්නේ නෑ මේකට. මොන ක්‍රමයකට හරි මැතිවරණ තියන්න ඕන කියන මතේ අපි ඉන්නවා.
State Minister of National Policies and Economic Affairs Dr. Harshadi Silva says that plans are afoot to allocate over $1 billion towards the health sector in the upcoming budget. This comes in a backdrop where cases of non-communicable diseases are on the rise, with recent data indicating that 1 in 3 Sri Lankans suffer from high blood pressure. Policy Forum on Hypertension and Cardiometabolic Diseases Impact Health Systems in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan and regional countries was held in Colombo today under the auspices of State Minister of National Policies and Economic Affairs Dr. Harshadi Silva. The event saw the participation of experts from the Ministry of Health, World Bank, specialists and professionals.
As you know, Sri Lanka is an emerging country, and at present we have a serious challenge with non-communicable diseases. The prevalence of diabetes 16 to 18%, and 2 national surveys have suggested that the prevalence of hypertension is anything between 25 to 28%. So technically 1 in 4, 1 in 3 of us would be suffering from high blood pressure. Sadly, despite having very effective medicines, 5 to 6 classes of antihypertensives, if used appropriately to control blood pressure, and control of blood pressure being acknowledged as a good point to control cardiovascular morbidity and mortality, patients, even in the best centers in the world, don't reach their blood pressure targets. In Sri Lanka, in this region, in fact, it is estimated that only 24% of patients reach their blood pressure targets. 76% don't, in spite of being on treatment.
We are in the process of prioritizing where we should put money next year, together with the Ministry of Finance. I was looking at what the issues that regularly come up in terms of things like life expectancy and all of that. But something that we've been unable to tackle, today being Children's Day, is malnutrition among children. Unsatisfactory on stunting at 17.3% and unsatisfactory at wasting at 21.5%. So it's really something that we need to think about beyond this. Of course, the new challenges are the aging population and the rising burden of non-communicable diseases, particularly in this case high blood pressure. You know, what are we doing? Increased investments in healthcare. Our budgets are not that big, but we are spending over $1 billion next year in this country on healthcare, around 1.5% of GDP.
The Government Medical Officers Association accuses that the government had implemented the suspension of vehicle permit issuance for MPs and state sector employees after all parliamentarians have acquired their luxury vehicle permits. Speaking at a media briefing today, Secretary of the GMOA, Dr. Harita Aludge, says that this development had affected the state sector employees and not parliamentarians as mentioned in the Finance Ministry.
They have issued a press release on last Saturday giving guidelines with regard to the importation of vehicles and other goods to the Sri Lanka. As the press release stated, government MPs, they will not be issued new duty-free vehicle permits. What we understand at the moment is, out of the 225 parliamentary MPs, all have claimed and all have got their duty-free permits, and therefore this is a lie which has forwarded to the people, and therefore no parliamentary MP is left at the moment to have a permit. And on the other hand, the government servants and the general public of this country were asked by the government to have a sacrifice, and the due to concession vehicle permit which was issued to the government servants will not be issued for 6 months. And as GMOA, we will be requesting the Treasury Secretary for a meeting.
Let's now take a look at some other emerging stories making news across Sri Lanka.
The traditional flag blessing ceremony was held at the Jayashri Mahabodhi, Anuradhapura this morning, in line with the celebration of the forthcoming 69th anniversary of the Sri Lanka Army. The event took place under the patronage of the Commander of the Army, Lieutenant General Mahesh Senanayake. Popular actor and singer Ronnie Leach passed away today at the age of 65. The singer had suffered a cardiac arrest, following which he passed away during his stay in Perth for a musical tour. A 37-year-old businessman was arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport when he arrived from Chennai with 4 parcels of hashish concealed within a stock of t-shirts. Reportedly, the arrested passenger is a resident of Katugastota area. According to the customs, the value of the stash of hashish is estimated to be worth Rs 1.1 million. Further investigations are carried out by customs officials.
We'll join you with some business news right after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Derana 24/7.
According to a new paper published by the Asian Development Bank, South Asia suffers from severe and persistent shortages of quality infrastructure that threatens to halt its progress as the fastest growing sub-region in the world. Now, the working paper on infrastructure financing in South Asia says that to sustain growth and deal with the threat of climate change, South Asia needs to invest almost 9.0% of its GDP on infrastructure up to 2030, with India alone requiring $260 billion. Now, the report further states that there are large deficits in transport and connectivity, poor logistical performance at borders and ports, and a consistent deterioration of the last decade quality of roads due to lack of maintenance. Meanwhile, the All-Share Price Index fell a sharp 0.76%, down 44.64 points to 5,817.54, and the S&P 20 index of more liquid stocks fell 1.06%, down 31.94 points to 2,970.06. Now, the market turnover was 170 million rupees. Let's cross over to Achadan Srirangan from First Capital Holdings for more details.
The browser in the red for the third consecutive day, dragged on by Ceylon Coal Stores and Silinco Insurance, recording the lowest close near the 5 years. All share price index witnessed a continuous downtrend throughout the day and reaching an intraday low of 5,807 and closing at 5,818, losing 45 points. Both turnover and volume has decreased, and nearly 45% of the turnover was derived by Ceylon Coal Stores. A net foreign outflow for witness for the 9th consecutive day with a moderate foreign participation.
The Sri Lankan rupee closed firmer today, further recovering from the record low touch last week as banks sold dollars ahead of the central bank's monetary policy meeting, while shares fell for a third straight session to hit a 4.5-year low and foreign outflows. Now, the rupee ended at 168.90 to 169 rupees per dollar, compared with the previous close of 169.15 to 30 cents. Let's now take a look at how the rupee traded against other currencies during the day. In an interesting turn of events, former Maldivian President Maumoon Abdul Gayoom has been released on bail a week after his estranged half-brother Abdullah Yameen was defeated in a presidential election. The release followed appeals from President-elect Ibrahim Mohamed Soli, who urged incumbent Yameen to free all political prisoners in the country. Meanwhile, speaking exclusively to First at 9, former Foreign Minister of Maldives and daughter of former President Gayoom, Dunya Maumoon, welcomed the latest decision.
Former Maldivian President Maumoon Abdul Gayoom was released yesterday by the High Court in Malé after they filed fresh appeals against their controversial convictions. The 80-year-old was arrested in February along with the country's Chief Justice and another Supreme Court judge for attempting to topple Yameen, who declared a 45-day state of emergency to block his impeachment. The High Court released Gayoom on a bail of $3,900 and he was also ordered not to travel abroad without its permission. The release followed appeals from President-elect Ibrahim Mohamed Solih, who urged incumbent Yamin to free all political prisoners in the country after his stunning victory in the September 23rd election. Yamin jailed or exiled most of his rivals during a turbulent 5-year term that will come to an end on November 17th when Solih is set to be sworn in. Meanwhile, speaking exclusively to First at 9, former Foreign Minister of Maldives and daughter of former President Gayoom, Dunya Mamoon welcomed the latest decision.
As a Maldivian citizen, I just wanted to say how relieved I am, firstly, that a peaceful and free and fair election is being conducted in the country, and that have now, from the Joint Coalition, President-elect Mr. Ibrahim Solih, and the country and its people, we are very hopeful that he will serve to unite our people and to heal the divisions that occurred in the past and to really address issues of justice in going ahead to develop our country further. Together with Mr. Ibrahim Solih, we have 4 key leaders, one of whom is my father, former President Mahmoud Sayed, who, with his many years of experience, would also be able to give him the required guidance in taking the country ahead. We are also very pleased to see a number of prisoners who were unfairly persecuted for political reasons, and some of our other leaders who are in exile, that they will be returning, mostly that my father, my brother, they have been released and they are at home. So I think it's a new dawn, a new era.
Gayoom had ruled the tourist island nation for 30 straight years till he was defeated in its first multi-party elections in 2008. Since coming to power in 1978, Gayoom supervised his country's transition to a major tourist destination, turning the tiny archipelago into one of the richest South Asian countries. However, his curbs on democracy rallied political opponents who accused him of ruling the country like a dictator.
The death toll from the devastating earthquake and tsunami in Indonesia has now risen to 844. Volunteers have begun burying victims in a mass grave. This is considered the most deadliest natural disaster in 2018.
The 7.5 magnitude quake occurred just off the central island of Sulawesi in Indonesia on Friday, setting off a tsunami. It was powerful but shallow and with more lateral than vertical movement, which is not typically the kind of tremor that sets off tsunamis. Indonesia's disaster agency said conditions in the Petobo neighborhood of Palu city were particularly bad because the quake caused a phenomenon called liquefaction. It occurs when loose water-filled soil near the surface loses its strength and collapses. Terrifying video perpetrating to show liquefaction taking place in the aftermath of the earthquake was posted in social media. Indonesian President Joko Widodo meanwhile welcomed offers of international help. Dozens of people are still feared to be underneath the rubble of one hotel alone, the Roro in the devastated coastal resort of Palu. Some remote areas have yet to be contacted. Meanwhile, authorities are taking actions to prevent an outbreak of disease caused by decomposing bodies. A sophisticated tsunami warning system was put in place across the whole Pacific region after the 2004 disaster, which killed nearly 250,000 people. A tsunami warning was also issued after the earthquake hit on Friday, but many people in Palu did not receive alerts because of power cuts caused by the tremor. There were also no sirens located along the coast. Indonesia, one of the world's most disaster-prone countries, lies on the Pacific Ring of Fire.
Up next is a short commercial break.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Derana 24/7.
Prime Minister Ranil says that 500 fully facilitated sporting centres will be built within the next 3 to 4 years, centering schools in the country. He made this remark at an event held in Colombo today.
The inauguration ceremony of the 34th All-Ireland School Games Athletic Championship was held at the Sugatadasa Outdoor Stadium today. The event was held under the patronage of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
අපි දැන් ඊළඟ පියවරට යන්න ඕනේ. ආසියාවේ කලාපයේ ජාත්‍යන්තර මට්ටමේ ක්‍රීඩාවට තරඟ කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රීඩිකාවන් බිහි කරන්න. අපි දැන් යෝජනා කරන්නේ ඊළඟ අවුරුදු 3-4 තුලදී මේ රටේ සියලු පහසුකම් තියෙන ක්‍රීඩා මධ්‍යස්ථාන 500ක් ලංකාවේ පාසල් තෝරාගෙන ආරම්භ කරන්න කියලා තමයි මම ඇමතුමාට කිව්වේ. එහෙනම් පාසලේ සිට ජාත්‍යන්තර රම්පදක් දක්වා යන්න පුළුවන් මාර්ග අපි ඇති කරමු. මේ සැරේ අපි ඉන්දුනීසියාවේ ආසියාවේ ක්‍රීඩා වලට අපිට අවස්ථාව ලැබුණා විශාල සංඛ්‍යාවක් යවන්න. දැන් සහභාගීව විතරක් මදි. අපි දිනලා එන්න ඕනේ. ඒ දිනලා තියෙන වැඩ කටයුතු අපි ආරම්භ කරමු.
England's one-day and 2020 team arrived in the country this morning to attend the England tour in Sri Lanka, which will begin on the 10th of this month. The English team will be captained by Ian Morgan.
Kicking off the England tour in Sri Lanka, the one-day series will begin on the 10th of this month. The tour consists of 5 one-day internationals, 3 test matches and 1 T20 match. The 3-match test series will begin on the 6th of November after the T20 encounter.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Sheila Fernando is at the Other Derana Weather Centre with your forecast first evening edition.
A very good evening to our viewers and welcome to Forecast First. Starting off with your temperatures for tomorrow that will vary between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius with the highest of 30 expected in Mullaitivu and Batticaloa. Well, when looking at the map, a low pressure zone will develop in the central hills and will gradually spread throughout the island. According to the Department of Meteorology, due to a low-level atmospheric disturbance in the vicinity of Sri Lanka, prevailing showery condition is expected to enhance over the island, particularly in the north-central, central, Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces, and expected to continue during the next few days. Heavy falls about 100 to 150 millimeters can be expected at some places in the central, Uva, Sabaragamuwa, western, southern and northwestern provinces. That's all from the Weather Centre tonight. Up next is your City by City forecast.
And before we go, we'd like to take you to the Lakshapana Falls, the 8th highest waterfall in Sri Lanka, with a height of 126 meters and 625th highest waterfall in the world. Lakshapana Falls is located in the area of Maskelia in Nuwara district. The falls gives its name to the twin hydroelectric power stations, Old Lakshapana Power Station, which generates 50 megawatts of electricity, and New Lakshapana Station, which generates 100 megawatts. We hope you enjoy these visuals and have a pleasant evening.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.